Hey everyone, you're here with Mark. This channel is all about detoxing. It's about detoxing, it's about mind, body, spirit, it's about parasites, and a whole plethora of different subjects. Jeffrey Epstein is a subject that I think I'm going to begin to dive into a little bit just because, really just detoxing these types of, people out of our society is really what I'm discussing. In these videos that I'm going to be creating, I'm going to be focusing in on two specific areas. Discovering his victims, actually going back and finding the 50, 80, 100, people are saying even potentially up to the thousands of possible victims that Jeffrey Epstein and his organized pedophile ring accumulated potentially over a course of 2 to 3 decades. And also, I'm going to be focusing in on Epstein's Little Black Book and his network. Who were all the people in his life? Whether they were just a basic associate or whether they were, a person that maybe he tried to get information on. Who were they? What do they do? What are their job descriptions? What companies do they own? What's their mission, their vision, their values? What do they do on a global level? At the end of the day, this person, if it is true, and potentially this person ran a pedophile sex traffic ring, an international sex traffic ring at that, potentially from tens all the way up to in the thousands of women. There is obviously, if you go down this rabbit hole, there people are discussing that women were procured from Europe or they're procured here from the United States, from Hades. So we're talking that potentially the Clintons and Epstein did frequently see each other on a yearly basis. And there is a lot of overlap with the Clintons and with Epstein. Obviously, there's a lot of information coming out between Prince Andrew. And some of the things I've noticed over the years is that when someone's being thrown underneath the bus like this, in such a large way like this, something else bigger is happening. They're distracting people, telling everyone to look to the left when they're skating through on the right side. And every time I see this, it doesn't matter whether it's guns, you go down rabbit holes of gun running or drugs or whatever, from potentially politicians being involved or just that whole slew of conspiracy theories. When you end up digging real deep, you end up discovering, wow, the Monica Lewinsky thing, that was actually a cover up for the amount of bombs that the Clintons were dropping, I believe in I want to say Yugoslavia, but I can't remember. I think Clinton's responsible for the largest number of bombs dropped in a single day. So there's always things going on, where they don't want the public to actually know what's going on. And if they're throwing the president, I mean, if they're throwing, and of course he's throwing himself underneath the bus, and I know things are leaking out, but how did they leak out? If these pictures of Prince Andrew and Epstein existed 10 years ago, a great question is who has been sitting on these photos until now? And why are they being released now? Why are they coming to the surface now? Why is this dirt, this hot, juicy dirt, coming out now when it could be coming out in a plethora of other people? And that's what I'm going to be diving into in this channel, is discovering, really going through his network. In 2005, the Black Book, that was his butler, I believe, tried to sell it, and he ended up actually spending time in jail and ended up dying in 2015, which is very interesting because obviously, again, the Clinton hashtag Clinton body count, obviously, and I'm not saying that the Clintons were responsible. We don't want to just throw everything underneath the Clintons, but it is really interesting that this person ended up spending jail time and ended up dying in 2018 when he was relatively in his 50s or 60s, when he was the butler for Epstein. And Virginia Dufresne, I believe her name is, really started to fight back. She started to really push this between 2012 and 2005 time period. So it's just really interesting to see the number of people that have died around this person. I believe also the main investigator died in his 60s, the person that was investigating this in Palm Springs, Florida. So just my point is I'm going to be spending time on these videos, really diving into his network of every single person that's on this book. I don't care if it takes a year or two. Who are they? What did they do? I'm going to be just thinking outside the box. I'm going to be researching, obviously, these people on the internet, but then also from that research, I'm just going to be creative around what could Jeffrey Epstein potentially want to have these people in his black book? Make the actual effort to put their name down, put their phone number, their email. What was it? Because this person really had the mindset of his world. Anyone that takes business seminars, I'm a businessman. I drink the same cup of Kool-Aid. Visualization. I wrestled in high school and college. We always were mindset and visualization and creating your reality, seeing yourself complete the goal, complete the wrestling shot, see it all the way through. This person lived this mindset. He named his plane the Lolita Express, which is a movie that was produced either in the 50s or 60s with a teacher that got involved with an underage student. The stories are coming out where he would sleep on the bed and he'd have women sleep around him in his plane. He created that mindset, of being a king. Who knows? Maybe he envisioned himself being some prolific person thousands of years ago. And at the end of the day, most of the kings over the course of thousands of years, sexually being with a woman at the age of 12 or 13 or 14 was normal. They would marry in at that age. The second that a woman was capable of going into puberty, she in many times had been sold or a prearranged marriage. If you go over to India, a lot of older men, 40, 50, 60-year-old men, are marrying women. Even still up to today, prearranged marriages are existing where these women are 17, 18 years old. So this person obviously created a whole world in his mind. Okay, there was nothing wrong with it. There was no sin. Just like Hitler and Stalin being able to kill the amount of people that they killed, Hitler being anywhere from 7 to 11 million, and Stalin being up to potentially 50 million people. And they potentially felt no guilt or shame for what they were doing. And that's what allowed them to accumulate their power and allowed them to continue to do their actions until finally there was a large enough opposing force to stop them, or their interests were just getting too large. Same thing with Jeffrey Epstein. Who was his network? Who are his victims? Why did he select these people to be in his life or to remember who they were? How did he see, like a chessboard, supposedly he loved to play chess, what piece on that board did each of these people play, or what could they have played? Unconsciously, people potentially might not realize that they are being used to procure women, or they don't realize the master plan. They're just excited they met another rich person and they're bedazzled by that whole world. So in these videos, as I go through each of these people and discover their businesses, I do my best to research each of these people as much as possible. I'm not going to be making assumptions, but I will be open-minded and I will do my best to be creative. I'm really just putting myself in the shoes of Jeffrey Epstein, the mind of Jeffrey Epstein, on why he thought each of these people could be used for one way or another in the big plan, because obviously I would say every single thing, or 80% of everything he touched or wanted to create or participate in, most likely it reflected his persona. So that also means that 80% of the people in his little black book at the peak of, he had never been busted before, so he's going rampant. After someone gets busted, they're a little more precautious. But so this person had not been busted, so he's at the peak of what he's doing. So at least in my mind, potentially up to 80% or as low 20 to 80% of his black book, in some level, in his mind, he could potentially use these people to further his vision. And what is that vision? Well, a lot of stories come out from him seeding the world with his sperm to, you can go into these rabbit holes of who knows the level of abuse that these young men and women have went through from, God knows, ages, who knows, 8 years old all the way up until, obviously past the age of 18. All right, well, the first person we will be diving into and talking about is Joanna Abosolman. And I'm going to do some research and I will let you know. I would start to dive in deep with her. And I might end up doing, who knows, anywhere from 2 to 3 people at a time. I'm going to try to make about a 10-minute video and cover each of these people. Obviously, some of these people are going to have, they're going to be completely, they had no idea. you know, they were just pawns on a chessboard. And other people, though, they're fully aware of what was going on. They were people that were participating. They were people that were enabling. Even if they didn't know specifically why he was doing whatever they were doing, they were enabling him to further his vision. Okay, thank you so much and have a great day.
We are a commitment-based purchase website, meaning that when you purchase something from our website, you are making a commitment to give away these brochures, give away and put on bumper stickers, put up the yard sign, or hang the flag. Our vision is to bring public awareness to organized pedophile rings. Our mission is to turn prey into predators, and our values is righteousness, bringing the light into the darkness, integrity, stay consistent, and endurance, never quitting. We also recommend to subscribe to other channels like Ryan Dawson, Sean Atwood, and Whitney Webb for more information around organized pedophile blackmail rings. Thanks so much. Please subscribe and have a great day, everyone.